Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 44th edition of Coffee with Ashish. Today we've got a very special guest with us, Anil Kumar Prasanna, who's the CEO of Axis Rooms, and it's actually a pretty interesting space. I mean, we've talked about different products around accommodation, hotel, alternative accommodation around the world, and I think it's still a pretty niche, unsolved problem. We've talked about that managing hotel inventory, managing your brand, your reputation, managing, doing dynamic pricing, ensuring you've got a competitive RevPAR. All these are extremely difficult situations and different balls to be juggled by a property owner. And I think there are a lot of companies who have tried to play their hands at solving this problem at scale, but many of them have not been able to succeed. And I mean, one of them we have with us who has in fact been able to succeed as is Axis Rooms, and they've got an entire product suite where right from managing your channel mix to automating your pricing to capturing feedback of your customers to seeing your live room inventory, seeing the live opportunities, and then having a dash of analytics and AI around it. I think Axis Rooms has got it all, and it's like a single platform on which you can manage your content, your distribution channels, your pricing, your margins, your guest information, and also your brand awareness and reputation management aspect. So it's like we have seen a lot of apps over the course of a few months who have solved these problems individually, but I think it's really interesting to see a product which can solve all these problems together in one go while ensuring data sharing seamlessly across all of these different modules. So I think it's really interesting. And the person who's at the helm of affairs of Axis Rooms, we are so delighted to have him with us, Anil Kumar Prasanna. He is the co-founder and CEO of Axis Rooms, and the organization we've already talked about is an award-winning software platform which has been used to distribute, optimize, and execute nearly 20 million room nights since 2011. So almost a decade in business now, and the company has more than 100,000 plus hotel partners. It has been recognized as Asia's leading hotel booking solutions by World Travel Awards in 2016, 2017, and 2018, 3 years in a row. It's been recognized as Booking.com's premium partner, supplier innovation partner with Agora 2019, and preferred supplier partner of Airbnb. Axis Room key customers include Unicorn Hospitality Group, startup Poyo Rooms, billion-dollar fintech startup Paytm in India, Vietnam OTA startup GoDaddy, hotel aggregators like Tribo, Fab Hotels, tourism boards like Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka State Tourism. And prior to setting up and scaling Access Rooms, Anil had worked in senior management roles in almost all the famous technology companies in travel like Via, mid-management positions in DOTW, ClearTrip, eBookers, and he has also worked as a consultant for many travel startups. And he's a true Bangalorean, born and brought up there, and he always makes sure he's got time to chat up with fellow entrepreneurs and mentor startups. So we've got him at a good chance in one of the fine evenings today, and we are so lucky to have you with us today, Anil Kumar Prasanna. A huge welcome to you, and I'm going to hand it over to Ashish to have a conversation with you while I sit back and enjoy my coffee.
Thank you, Karthik.
Okay. Anil, how's your coffee?
Good. I think the filter coffee in Bangalore is always good.
Yeah, amazing, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell us yourself. How do you see the hotel and technology digitalization space shaping up from here?
So I think the technology digitalization in the hotel industry is catching up. I can't say that they are at there because I think if you look at I would like to talk more about India this time, looking at the audience which we have here. So in India perspective, I think we have around 75,000 hotels, which is there on the whole country. I think adoption rate of technology is only about 20 to 25%. So that's where the adoption of technology, which comes into distribution system, which comes in. So I'm not telling that they might have some other technology like property management system or might be terminal-based systems in the hotels, which might add up another 10 or 20% more. But still, adoption rate is very low. What I expect and see is maybe post-COVID, I think with less number of employees able to come to the organization, plus the cost involved in this, I think they will adopt more technology going forward. And also looking at digitalization, I think the two or three things which actually COVID taught us, where is it basically one is, like contactless check-in. I think
Yeah.
this will be very popular going forward. The contactless digital menu for ordering the food. Basically, you might not need the service guys who will be there at the restaurant. You might do from a mobile application, and only thing of interaction might be only the food order coming to your table. That can be only one kind of only interaction with the people. At the hotels, I think what villas and home segments did in US is they actually bypassed the step of technology and they already went to mobile keys. I think this is again coming back to the hotel industry where mobile check-in will happen and through mobile phone, through the contactless NFC or anything like that, they can actually get access to the room key without having the hard enabled keys at the hotel check-in. These are the few things, and few of the health safety aspects which has come into like we need to consider is basically basic check of the person checking in to check if he has a temperature, what temperature he has got, or a kind of a form. I think if the hotels can adopt that, they can get these details before check-in, so that there is very minimal interaction at the front office, will be a good option. One more very important thing is on the digitalization. I think business has been bad for the industry. It's very bad. I would actually ask my hotel partners to actually spend a lot of time to improve their content on the websites, improve their photography, the video, or even drone pictures. I know it is expense, but looking at the ROI, if you are not, showing off your hotel, it is very difficult to sell it in the future. So technology adoption, I see as a very important aspect at this point of time. You will be left behind if we don't actually gear up to the technology. And coming to the cost and other aspects of it, uh, technology is coming, it's very expensive. So I think what they need to look at is different kind of vendors that they need to speak to and come out with some kind of like product evaluation what they would require. They might not need a large ERP systems. Might be a small startup based enabled products can be also useful. So I think these are the first steps. I think as digitalization, there is a lot more to catch up on, but this should be the beginning for them.
Right. Coming from a travel agent, tour operator, distribution background, which I do, my fellow human, of course, have always thought of technology as a cost. And they try and evaluate cost versus putting bums on the seat. He says, I'd rather hire two people and put it and I'll take them out whenever I want to take them out rather than, committing myself to huge. Right. Although adaptation and understanding of what the process is also important. What would you summarize as your key thoughts between technology being a cost and actually a return on investment, especially in the distribution space?
All right, I think very good question, Ashish. I think this question I have come across a lot of times in my career. I think the first time when I went to sell access rooms, this was a question posed by hotel manager to me. That my front office manager is sitting there. He does not have any work. He can actually upload inventory and prices sitting
Correct.
there. Why does he need a system like yours? So things have changed from that time to now. So what is happening is people have less patience because we are on mobile. We bypass the digital era in the laptops and desktops of internet. So everybody has a mobile phone today, and we are also doing mobile payments now. Uber and Ola has changed the game. So everybody, including maybe drivers, also are having application where they can manage themselves, communicate on WhatsApp, communicate on Telegram. So these things have changed. So now looking at the, let's say, a simple example of me traveling, though I would love to talk to offline agents, the information what they give is tremendous. But by the time they confirm the booking, I lose my patience. And when it comes to pricing, there is the opportunity that might be the OTAs are discounting the prices and giving better prices in the market. though offline industry still has the better edge on the services part of it, that they are able to be accountable for the services and quality. They are available on the calls better, in a better way, not putting down any other partners here. But what has come to, like, the time is very important at making the transactions. Second most important is, manually you can't distribute into 1,000 partners or 10,000 partners. But when you have technology, you can also look at a million partners. So it's basically you are there in the world and just go and show off yourself and be discovered. The problem with the discovery is, like, if you don't adopt to the, let's say, a online portal in Iceland, I don't even know the name. So can my hotel can be listed when the Iceland tourists look for India? Can they look at my hotel as option? Is
Yeah.
a opportunity what they should look at. Second most important thing, like contactless check-in and things like that, it actually cuts down a lot of your cost on the employee. Employee attrition is very high in the hospitality industry. Training is another headache. Basically, you get the new team member plus you have to train them again and again. Third thing is that kind of the, let's say, from the check-in till the transaction of the hotels or even the whole travel agency, when the customer looks on the website until the transaction, I think if you look at the OTAs, they have a timer nowadays which says that, are you happy that you finish your booking within 60 seconds or 45 seconds or
Right.
1 minute,
Right. Right.
20 seconds? That's the speed of like opportunity and the transaction which is happening in the world. So people are faster now. In fact, Generation C will be much faster than us. We are Generation Y, and I think there is tremendous. Means even though it comes as a cost at the beginning of technology, but the ROI of the cost is very very fast, and it is at least 100x if right technologies are used.
Right.
For example, another example which I would like to say is, I was speaking to a hotel in Kerala. I don't want to name the hotel. They're like very premium hotel, basically from past many years they have been on the business. They sell very much on offline. I looked at their pattern, they never increased the rate by 100 rupees also in the whole season. It was all same rates. And can you believe that the amount of transactions they do with dynamic pricing with us, when we adopted our revenue management system, their increased revenue for that particular season was 300%.
Mm.
The cancellation was around 15 to 20%, which came down to 2% because of the right rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the kind of opportunity which they get, and they are not even looking at their competition, right? The competition is selling the hotel today, let's say at lower rate. It might be a 5-star is selling at 4-star today because of COVID, and a 4-star rate is selling at 3-star. Are they looking at what competition is selling? So where do they get insights? Will they go to each and every window and look for the rates? No, they need a rate shopping tool to see what prices are sold in the market and how I can benefit myself with the right pricing. So today is, let's say, services are the very key factor, let's say experience of the customers. But the most important factor is, other factor is technology. If you look at Karthik telling that we have won so many awards in different segments, it's basically because we are always doing beta partnership with all these OTAs. We try to experiment a lot. We try to bring in new products. We did a rate shopping project in Maldives with a leading OTA, a global OTA. We did the first API integration towards the villa segment, the Airbnb, when we started off. We were the first partners to integrate even with GoIBiPo when there was no API. We used to work on different ways. We used to work on spiders, scrapers, what we call it as in the technology
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
We used to web scraping everyday basis to put the inventory and put the inventory out when we started off. Today, the world is much easier. We have JSON, XML,
Yeah.
which is very easy to connect and actually put our responses across. So I think the cost is there at the beginning, but I feel they can still optimize the cost because there are enough players in the market who are offering different kind of technologies at different cost. What is viable is what they need to look at is what they would like to execute it. Today actually they have time to look at what they have to do to improve their business. So I feel that they should spend that time and evaluate the right technology, and also put a goal that what and all they'll adopt within the next 6 months to 1 year. They can't adopt everything together, but at least they can take a step by step to see is the distribution is first thing which I'll solve, or the revenue management is the next thing I'll solve. The third thing is how will I give the guest experience to them. So if they can bring in these three critical technologies for the business, I think it is very helpful for themselves. Plus, they also stand out better in front of the OTA partners because OTA partners would like to sell which is connected property.
Mm.
The connection is very important. The critical connection point is
Yeah,
very, very
yeah.
important for them. So that's where it goes. And I feel the ROI is, I think, if they put right amount of uh, inputs and see, I think they can actually get their ROI within 3 months if they really evaluate and see how they can optimize their costs.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah. Well, sign of changing times, a little trivia. The 80s, I used to work for Mercury Travel, which was a subsidiary of the Oberoi Groups. And Mr. PRS Oberoi himself harped on the fact of personal butler, right?
Right.
He said, tell them we give personal butlers. And then I moved in 2010 as an advisor to International Travel House, which again was managed by IDC Hotel. And that personal butler there became an e-butler. That was a big thing because, you know, each guest has a pad and he could, you know, do whatever a butler could do, he could do it on a pad. So, you know, that's how times have adapted. And today in COVID's time, I don't think anybody wants to see a personal butler's face. Forget about, you know, being able to deal with it. But coming back, you have recently obviously announced a merger with a firm. And obviously, you must have kept in mind the value it brings on the table, not only to you, but to your shareholders, but to your customers, your partners, etc. So how briefly tell us and how will it help you going forward? What's
So
the
I think,
story behind it?
yeah. So basically, this never happened due to COVID as such. We had actually started discussing in last year August about the possibility of this merger. So the idea was actually to have the all-in-one solution, or the what we call it as a operating system for hotels. We do have certain technologies like CRS, or a, like, you know, might be a lightweight property management system, which is good for smaller properties. But HotelLogix had a good enterprise, you know, version of technology with them, which is a better product in the market. Plus, their PMS is much more stronger than our PMS product, which was there in the market. Plus, their features were very strong. So it was complementing us working with them. And second thing we also did is another partnership. It's a very rare merger. What has happened this time? I think there is no tri-party mergers which are like really successful. If you look at the past history, it's very difficult to bring three people together
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
company. So that is what we achieved in this particular merger. The second partnership which we have announced with this is RepUp, which is a reputation management platform. They actually are working on online reputation management for the hotels. Plus, they do work on experience, the guest experience. From the time your booking lands from OTA to the hotel, they engage with bots like, you know, thank you for booking with us, or when, you know, you're checking on so and so date. Can we get you something like, you know, do you want anything special to be organized for you? You know, this kind of, it's engagement what is mattering, matters here. From there on, they actually go on to even sending a message one day before the check-in again, and even, you know, engaging the guest again, and looking at what is the check-in time. When they come, there is no waiting time for them. The room is available for them. Even also inform the notification towards the engineering team to put the AC on before they come in to get that experience. So these are the few things what they worked on, and they also go till the end when the customer actually checks out. They also ensure that they catch up with the review, and the approach is very proactive with them. They actually, in fact, even during the guest stay, there are multiple. It's not to harass the guest as such, but there are 2-3 messages which goes to them to check if they really want something or if something is missing in the experience of the hotel guest. So what they actually do is they cover up the damage if there is any issue with the customer. So they don't go out and post a bad message later. So they actually try to correct it when the customer is there in the hotel. So for us, it's a complementary for with HotelLogix being the enterprise PMS with us, and RepUp is contactless platform plus guest experience plus online reputation management. We are very strong in distribution. We are very strong. We are the number one in distribution in India, and we are very strong with our revenue management systems. We also have the rate shopping and AI-based analytics too. So that's where we thought, you know, all these platforms put together can actually make the hotel, you know, having a one-point solution, operating system like Windows, what we call it as Microsoft Windows, for the hotel technology, and we can build apps and partners around them. Like might be tomorrow's 10 more applications might come in which hotel want to use. And we are working in a very democratic way. We are not cutting off any partners. So we'll still acknowledge the more PMS partners working with us. In the same way, Hotel Logics will work with more distribution partners. But if hotel chooses a all-in-one solution, this integration is seamless between us. We'll have very strong integrations. The experience of technology will be very, very smoother there. And also we'll also harvest a lot of data here because all the platforms is coming through us. We'll harvest a lot of data and look at all the data points which can enable the customer experience better. So idea was this, and I think it took almost 1 year for us to get here. COVID actually delayed us to get this project up and running. But we are here, and we should be announcing a lot more products going forward.
Okay. Like I said, coming from a tour operating travel distribution background, my thoughts always go around on a larger universe of travel. And you know, this arrangement gives you a lot of data points, gives you a lot of integration, a lot of customer experiences to be able to move from various touch points. But how do I see the complete demand and supply equation being integrated into one, whether it be railways, whether bus travel, whether air travel with hotel, so that you have a comprehensive solution? Because there are so many, you know, multiple products which need to be booked. OTAs do facilitate some of it, but how can a system like your make it happen into a seamless arrangement?
I think when you look at the hub and spoke model, we are the spokes to connectivity. So I feel for the mobility-based businesses where we are looking at how to connect the guest experience from the flight to the hotel and back to the home is something which everybody is looking onto this segment. And it's very important. In fact, recently I spoke to a holiday online company recently in India, where actually they never contacted us till today to actually do integration. But today they are saying that, you know, we would like to connect with you to enable the experience that earlier my bookings were like, you know, I used to confirm the booking and take the payment, but next day I would like to confirm the hotel bookings. But today I would like to make it real time. So I think a lot of people are working on mobility side of it. The experience from even including the taxis from the home to the airport, the flight or the train or the bus, whatever is it. So these are a few things. I think it's connecting well at this stage because of the APIs and JSON or XML API, you know, integration which we are trying to do in the market. It is at a very nascent stage, Ashish. I think we are still far away to get a better experience. But I think a couple of years down the line, I think it will answer all your questions that we'll connect well. Services will connect well. In fact, we had a recent hotel partner who was also wanting to put up his like restaurant buffet also on the an application booking engine. Though we had this ability from past 4 years, now he wants to sell it extra, right? So he's trying to do that. That, you know, he's attracting more customers on F&B also.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. A lot of you know, hotels has got spa inside, but there is, when you make the booking, there is no message that would you like to have a spa, right? I think the one thing what hotels need to get back to the drawing table and see is what other services I have, or what are the ancillary revenues I can make, maybe through third party partner, maybe through sightseeing, but how can I bring the guest experience into the one booking engine platform is something they would like to look at. Today, I think irrespective of OTA business or their own business, the occupancy is very low. At this point of time, I think they should spend more time on digitalization of their services, every possible services what they have in the hotel. I think in the COVID, I also saw some brochures or internet digital advertisements for even five-star hotel doing the laundry services.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they always had a expensive laundry machinery with them, but they never saw that how I can use it for outside market. Today they are thinking about it. Yeah. Right. So I think adoption and quick innovation of your how to get your services out in the market, how to distribute digitally is very important. So how will I make sure that when I do a Google search, can I find a laundry in my hotel list? You know, how will the customer find it? Is something actually they have to work on. Have they put listed on the Google businesses? If they are listed on Google businesses, have they put all the services there? Or have they put this across on the website? Is something which they need to ponder about and see how they can add value to the customer experience, also make revenue for themselves.
So not only ancillary revenues and service, but even the flexibility of room tariffs. I mean,
Exactly.
I think gone are the days when the check-in was 12 noon and checkout was 12 noon.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually have a startup on our panel whose name is book by slot. You
Okay.
can actually book by 4 hours and 8 hours and 11 hours. And I think it's a very handy thing today with transit passengers, people who are train passengers, and so on and so forth, you know, or you need a room for just wash and change in the morning before you get to a meeting in a state.
Right.
So obviously, I think there will be a flexibility on tariffs also coming. But having said that, how do you specifically see the hotels adopting? I mean, I know safety and all that is fine. Much has been spoken. But what's the mindset?
So I think hotels need to be flexible. I think this current state of market, I think they need to encourage customers coming into them. So I always have the issue that, you know, why there is no hotel 24 hours check-in. You know, the only question which I answer, which I get from the hotel partners is, it's difficult to manage the housekeeping, or housekeeping comes in the morning and they need about 4 hours to clean up the rooms and things like that. So I think with the model which you're talking about, I think there are a few, you know, partners who are coming with a flexible timing. In fact, some OTAs, large OTAs also is pondering about it. Let's see how they want. But today's perspective, what I see is employees in, let's say, for example, in Europe. Recently, I was talking to a part, you know, general manager of a hotel who is a friend of mine. He said everything is like a gig economy there. You know, you need housekeeping at 10 o'clock in the night. It's basically I book it 2 hours, I know, on the application, and the person comes and do housekeeping to my, you know, particular rooms which are vacant, and he goes back. So I think it's not very far that India will also catch up on this particular segment, or even Southeast Asian countries where the check-in is very irritating, where you go into the hotel at 11 in the morning and they say 3 o'clock you'll get the room.
Yeah.
Especially in Singapore. So all these things will actually go out at some point of stage. But gig economy has actually put a perspective, because today, hotel employee don't have to work in one hotel; he can work in multiple hotels, as long as he has got a free time. And in UK, it's mostly in Airbnb segment. Everybody books on housekeeping on a gig hours basis. Like you check out, and there's a message going to the housekeeping platform.
Come and do
Whoever
it.
is available will come and pick it up. He comes and cleans the house. There's a standard operating procedure there, that this is what they have to do.
Yeah. If you look at the efficiencies the airlines have bought in turning around a flight.
Exactly.
Indigo says we turn around a flight in 45 minutes. So
Exactly.
therefore,
That is what hotels are missing on. Even in the restaurants, pre-order. I'm a business guy. I don't have a time to wait for 30 minutes for lunch to come into me, and another 30 minutes for having lunch, right? If I can pre-order and I can come at, let's say, 1 o'clock slot, they can turn around the table very fast, and they can get more customers also, especially in COVID times, where restaurant space is like 50% of the actual 100% occupancy with the safe distancing and things like that. So very important is the turnaround time. The hotel has to get into that and see that how they can change the turnaround time of housekeeping, give flexibility of 4 hours check-in, 10 hours, basically stay, or maybe 12 hours stay or 24 hours stay.
Well, Anil, yeah, before I pass you back to Karthik, just one line on how do you see the shape of the startup community in the travel and tourism shaping up going from here? Earlier, we know they were based around on funding and making it a certain size and be able to exit out of the equation. How do you see it happening now? Is there an exit now?
So I think, see, one thing what they need to do is definitely, they have to continue to be lean. So it's very important, with the current situation, they can't be actually spending too much of cost on operations in the business. Second important thing is they will get an exit as long as they are good at execution. So the problem with most of the industry, which I see, is they jump onto too many products, including us. We did the mistake.
Right.
We went to too many products ourselves.
Right.
I think what I would recommend is focus on one product, scale it up big time. Don't get hassled because every customer comes and says, I want this, I want that. Technically, when you build it, actually, they don't use it. Right. So stick on to your prime product, scale it up, look for a partner, speak to your competitors. You never know when they come to use. Right. You might even merge with them, or you might be even acquired by them.
Sure.
Speak to your competitors. At least, a chat of, let's say, in the 6 months, might be a coffee meeting or something like that. They should start doing it. And engaging with the investors too.
Yeah. Look at your own collaboration. You've just pulled a three-way plug, really, so to say. So Karthik, thank you, Anil, for being here today with me. But over to Karthik for any last minute.
I
Thank you,
think
Ashish.
we've covered various aspects of all the avenues of how you build the organization and how you look at the broad trends. And I think it's a inspiration to see the success story of Access Rooms and what you've achieved in the last 9 years or so. And I think it's a source of immense inspiration for a lot of startups community who are watching this. And we are really happy that you've been so candid in sharing your experiences. So with this, we're at the end of today's session. Thank you so much, Anil,
Thank you,
for
Karthik.
taking out time and sharing your experiences with us. Thanks, Ashish, as always. And thank you, audience, who joined in. And we'll see you on Thursday with our next session. Till then, stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ashish, for the
Thank you, Anil.
opportunity. Thank you,
It
guys.
was a
Bye.
pleasure. We'll catch up with you. Bye-bye.